Welcome to the HMO Property Show. By investors, for investors. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a new landlord, or just curious about property investing, this is the podcast for you. Sponsored by the Co-Living Collective, your trusted partner in creating vibrant and sustainable shared living experiences. Visit us at colivingcollective.com.au to learn more.
Welcome back to the HMO Property Show. I'm your host, Neil Gibb, and today I'm going to talk to you something a little bit different outside of real estate, but it's something that you might find interesting. You might already be using it. You might actually go away and do some research on it and see how you can use it to make your life better, easier, faster. And what I want to talk to you about is AI, because it's here whether we like it or not. We've been using it in the business probably over the last 18 months, mainly ChatGPT, just asking it questions and stuff like that. But then I came across a guy called Simon Beard, and Simon used to own a company called Culture Kings. You might have seen them in the high streets. They're basically a clothing brand. They sell streetwear like basketball tops, etc. And Simon exited Culture Kings in I don't even know what year it was, but he sold the business for $600 million and he bootstrapped the full thing. No outside investment. And he's been doing a lot of data, or a lot of publishing a lot of content talking about artificial intelligence, but more importantly, a piece of software called OpenClaw. And OpenClaw is essentially a AI agent that can actually physically do work for you. So then when you tie that in with the likes of ChatGPT or Claude, then you've essentially got an employee that can just work 24 hours a day. And stick with me, this might sound a bit technical, but I'm going to make it sound as simple as possible and I'll tell you all the different things that we're using it for. Because after the last 10 years that I've been investing in real estate and setting the business up in 2017, along that journey, we have collated a lot of data. We spoke to a lot of people that want to rent our properties. We spoke to a lot of investors. We pushed out a lot of content, all of this stuff. And obviously, as the business units have grown and evolved, we've now got 5 or 6 different businesses underneath our Co-Living Collective master brand. And inside each of them businesses, there is lots of data, and that data is absolute gold. Now, to pull that data historically, I'd have had to sit somebody down, pay them almost a six-figure salary, and got them to pull that data out and present it to me. And that would have taken weeks, if not months. And then we might not have ever got it exactly how we wanted it. Now, what I've done over the last 10 days, I reckon, since I started playing with this thing, I have managed to collate all of the data in the HMO Property Core. And let's be honest, I've sat around and played with this for 5 days, and probably in the last 4 days I have pulled so much data and organized it into a fashion that's easily digestible for me. And also the next step is I'm going to deploy it into the property management business and pull all the data around all the applications we've had. And we've probably housed over 3,500 people since 2017. So that's just people that we've housed. If you think about all the people that have applied for rooms or inquired on them as well, we've got all that data too. This is data that nobody else has got, right? Realestate.com don't have this. Rewa don't have this. Domain don't have this. This is data specific to our business and our business model. And this is what's going to take us to the next evolution of our business as well. So if I go back to the very start of this, we used to use some real manual type property management software. I can't remember the name of it now. It's probably evolved a little bit now, but right now we're using Property Me inside our property management business, but it's not built specifically for room by room rentals, right? So it's a kind of patchwork job at the minute. But if I look across the full businesses, right, we're using Monday.com, Just Call, Active Campaign, Property Me, Zero, Inspect Real Estate. Then we're using the likes of Microsoft Suite, etc. We're using a software called Riverside, which I record these podcasts into, and it records the podcast and then chops it up into smaller pieces of content. These are all manual jobs, right? And if all of these platforms are also siloed, none of them are talking to each other, which means it's a manual process. And all of this data has been sitting dormant in all of these different business units that we've got. And whilst the relevant business units are using that data, I don't think they're using it at their full capacity. And this is where AI comes into it. Now, if you've been following anyone like Elon Musk or anyone like that, they're talking about the way that this is evolving. Elon is apparently bringing out Tesla robots. They're going to be in our houses soon. He also says he's going to replace his full workforce with robots that he's built and have got artificial intelligence built into them. And I think that this has the potential to replace that middle bracket of workers which are in offices now. It's staggering what this thing can do, right? And I'm going to run you through it soon, right? So, what is AI? Everybody's thinking it's like a robot, it's not sci-fi or anything like that. AI is a tool that processes large amounts of information and helps you make the decisions faster. Thinking of it like an advisor that never sleeps, never loses patience, never gets tired. I'm currently running on my phone. I've got ChatGPT and I've also got Claude. So I'm using two different large language models. And I'm starting to use Claude more because it's more accurate and it pushes back when I'm wrong. And I've also been trying the best way to connect my AI assistant into these large language models, which I'll explain in a second. And I found that Claude just works so much better. It's faster. It's a bit more expensive, but it is absolutely cool. So what I've got is I've got the ChatGPT and Claude. And then what I've also done is I've gone out and I bought a Mac Mini, which is totally separate from my MacBook Pro, which I use for all of my normal day-to-day stuff. It's got all of my property stuff in there. It's got my banking stuff. Imagine that as my central source of truth. So what I don't want to do is have some AI agent just in my computer doing things that I don't want it to do. So I bought a separate Mac Mini, cost me $1,000, set that up. I then set up the OpenClaw agent, and OpenClaw, like I say, it's the doer, not the thinker. But the doer connects into the thinker so it can actually do things for you. Stick with me, I'll explain it. Claude is the brain, Alfred is the doer. And then I've got Telegram on my phone, and I literally talk into my phone, and I've called him Alfred. If anyone's a Batman fan, Alfred Pennyworth is Batman's butler. No, I'm not saying I'm Batman, but I just thought it'd be cool to call him Alfred Pennyworth. So I can pick up Telegram and press record and say, hey, Alfred, can you give me an update on what's going on in my emails today? I want to know if there's anything urgent, pressing, and what the rest of my day looks like. And he'll message me back and he'll say, hey, Neil, you've got 3 emails in your inbox that need actioning. I can also see in your diary this afternoon you've got this, and this. Do you need me to do anything with them? Now, because Alfred is the doer, I can actually say to him, Alfred, can you move my 2 o'clock meeting to 4 o'clock? And can you reach out to the people that were booked into that meeting, just let them know that we need to reschedule it because I've got something important on? He can actually send an email to the people that were in that conversation or that diary entry and say, hey, we need to move this because Neil's got something important on. Let me confirm. Can you please confirm if this is still suitable for you? So ChatGPT couldn't do that before, and from what I understand, Claude couldn't. They've now got something called Claude Cowork, which I think is trying to compete with OpenClaw. So that's one thing that it's doing, right? I also got it to log in to the back end of YouTube and say, can you analyze my YouTube channel and help me understand how I can get more views? Because we've done 188 episodes of the HMO Property Show now, and I feel like we should have more followers on, we'll get more traction on it. He literally just pulled the full YouTube channel apart. I seen him log in on the computer. He asked for the login details. I gave him the login details. He opened it on Chrome. He logged in, scanned everything, messaged me back in Telegram, and he says, Neil, these are the things that I would recommend doing. Do you want me to do them for you? And I said, yes. He changed the titles of 10 of the podcasts. He changed the description in 10 of the podcasts. And this is the way it's going, right? He's a doer. He can physically log in and do things for me. So he's sending emails. He's changing things in my inbox, in my diary. And he's also logging in and changing descriptions on websites for me. So you're probably going to see a lot more content come out from us lately, because this thing now has freed up so many people from doing the doing into actually like thinking, and they can use ChatGPT and Claude to think again. They can come up with ideas, we can implement, we can get Alfred to do some of the work, and he can connect to Canva, he can connect to Zero, he can connect to Monday.com, he can connect to Property Me, he can connect to Zoom, he can connect to Just Call, he can connect to my Active Campaign CRM. So for instance, right, we use 3 different pieces of software. And stick with me, guys. I'm going to give you some reasons on, or some ways that you can potentially use this for your property investing. So we had Just Call, which is the caller software that my team used to call leads that come into our CRM. That connects to the CRM, but 2 different pieces of data, right? The call gets transcripted in Just Call, but it doesn't get updated into Active Campaign CRM. And then when we need to have Zoom calls with people, we jump on a Zoom call, and that call gets recorded in Zoom, and then that data is inside Zoom. So now I've got 3 pieces of software with 3 different pieces of data in there. And manually, that would take somebody, for someone to review a sales call, they would need to sit down, and they would need to sit there for an hour and think about everything that's going on in that call and make notes and give feedback on this. So what we've done is I've connected them 3 of them together, and I've connected them to a Monday board, and I said, I want you to collate all the data across them 3 platforms, and I want you to build me out a Monday board. I want you to populate all the data into that Monday board, and I want you to build me some dashboards off the back of it as well, so I can see how many calls we've made, how many calls have been answered, how long them calls go for. And then I installed the sales framework, which we built. And I said, I want you to score each of these sales calls based on the framework that we have built out. And it now, every time a call finishes, it drops into the Monday board. It says, call made, call answered, duration of the call, score for the call out of 10 based on the framework that you've given me. These are the recommendations or the points that I think we should be using to help improve the calls that you're having with the clients. Now, we have got nothing but confidence in the product that we help our investors invest in, right? We just need to learn how to articulate our value better to our clients or to our prospects so that they become clients, right? And this is helping us really fine tune the front end sales process of this machine that we built, right? Now, one of the other things I've also done, or one of the other things I also want to stress is because this is doing what it's doing, a lot of people think AI is going to replace people in my business. That's not going to happen, right? What it's going to do, right, is going to free them up from doing a lot of the doing so that we can have more human touch points. Now, our full business model is built around community connection, right? There was another C in there as well. My wife would nail that one. But yeah, community connection, right? We build 6-bedroom houses. We keep the common areas so that people come out and congregate and spend time with each other because we're social human beings, right? Now, a lot of my team are busy doing jobs that now I can get AI to do. That now frees my team up, and we can think more. We can think more clearly. We've got more time to actually pick up the phone and speak to our clients. We've got more time to go out to site and do the things that we need to do. So no one in my team is going to lose the job, but it's going to free them up to do their job better and have more impact and have more touch points. So the admin, the data entry, the boring, mundane tasks that a lot of these people are doing right now, AI is going to handle that so that my team get their time back. And I want to use that time to pick up the phone and have real conversations with our clients and our tenants as well. Because as this AI thing evolves, human connection is going to become even more paramount. It's going to become even more important. And I think some businesses are going to go too far AI and then lose that human connection, or some people are going to just focus too much on the human connection and not use AI, and they're the ones that are going to get left behind. And I think a blend of using AI to automate and delegate tasks too, so that they can do the mundane and free up the team inside that business, I think they're the business that are going to thrive. Now, one of the other things I've connected it to as well is, before I get into that, one of the things, again, going back to my property management business, because I've just been using this in HMO Property Show so far, right? And just the data that it's pulling, like I can say to Alfred now, Alfred, I want you to pull me a profit and loss from March 2026, and I want a balance sheet from 2026, and I want a cash flow forecast for March 2026 as well. And I want you to compare the profit and loss in the balance sheet to January and February, so I can see exactly where my business is at. I also want you to give me recommendations on what we can do to save money in terms of if you see any unnecessary spending there. I want you to question it, flag it, and give me some ideas on what we can do with it. Now, I've got a finance team there. They're incredible, but that would take somebody half a day, maybe a little bit longer. He will literally do that in 10 minutes and he'll have it in my inbox. And then I can sit down with my finance team and go, what do we think this guy's saying? Is he accurate? Is he right? Like, humans can miss things, right? And so can robots, so can AI. But if it makes everybody's life a little bit easier, then I'm all for that, right? So again, AI doesn't replace the human touch. It creates more space for it. Now, going back to the property management business, we've been managing properties since 2017, right? The business was set up first and foremost to manage my wife and I's property portfolio because we couldn't find any property managers to manage it the way that we wanted it managing. Everybody was saying, put the tenants on the same lease and just rent the property out for $500, and that way just split the $500 across the people that rent there. And we were saying, no. We want you to put individual leases in place, charge them a little bit more so that the investors get more money. And they would say, nah, that'll never work. And here we are now, almost a decade later, with over 1,000 rooms and housing over 3,500 people in that time, right? So obviously it works, but these people just weren't open to being progressive with what needed to be done in the market. Now, in that time, we've collected so much data. We know people's ages, what they drive, what they do for a living, how much they earn. We even ask them questions like, what's your favourite takeaway and what's your favourite drink? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? This helps us, again, connect people correctly in the houses. And all that data is sat there. And this is the next piece of data that I'm going to be unpacking. And I'm going to record a podcast specifically on it because I think the tenant profile that we are attracting now, and I'll also get Alfred, my AI Clawbot agent, to look at the difference of caliber of tenant from the start of our journey back in 2017 to where we're at now in terms of what they earn, what they do, what they where they're from as well. That's a big one. Like, are these all Australians that are living here? Are they English? Are they Irish? Are they Filipino? Are they Indians? We're going to have all that information for you on another episode very, very soon. So they're just some of the things you can use it for in your business. Like, I can actually say to Alfred, every morning at 7 o'clock, I want you to send me I want you to scan realestate.com. I want you to scan Domain. I want you to scan Facebook Marketplace. I want you to scan Gumtree. And I want you to send me any properties in there that have the potential to be into a HMO. Now, I'm obviously going to give him parameters around that, what that looks like. But then every morning at 7 o'clock, I get a message from him. Or I can actually say, if you could just send me an email to my inbox and I'll check that email out, that'd be great. And he can send me an email. So it's pretty phenomenal with what this thing can do. One of the other things I'm using it for on the personal side of things, right? As if you've been following me for a while, you might know I'm right into my health. I believe that if my health is on point, then everything else in life becomes a lot easier. So I want to be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. I want to be eating the right calories in the right macronutrient breakdown. I want to be training 3 times a week. I want to be getting 10,000 steps a day. And I want to be drinking lots of water every day. Now, again, I've got different things that do different things, right? I've got this Aura ring that does certain things. I've got an Apple Watch that does certain things. I have to put my food into my Fitness Pal, which is a separate app to everything else. Now, a lot of these feed into Apple Health, but I don't think the Apple Health user face is that friendly. So I got Alfred to connect to all of these things, Apple Health, my Fitness Pal, Hume Health, which is the scale that I use every month to weigh myself. And then I also got him to connect to my Aura ring. And then I got him to build me a dashboard online, like an online dashboard, which has got live data feeding into it. It's got a daily dashboard, so it shows me where I'm at. I can log in at any time and see like the data that will be across 4 different apps. I can log into my dashboard and just see exactly where I am at. And he also says that based on the activity that you've done, the steps that you've done, the calories that you've done, you're in this much of a calorie deficit. And based on that calorie deficit, if you stay in that calorie deficit, then your weight should be dropping down at roughly around this much every single week, sort of thing. So again, it takes out a lot of the thinking for me. It also collates a lot of the data into one easy to see sort of location for me, because it's a pain, right? You've got so many different, who's got more than 10, 15, 20 apps on the phone? I know I have. And it's a pain in the ass inputting all this different data across all these different apps. Now, the next thing I want to do is trying to get Alfred to input the data for me. That's the next step, where I'm just like, Alfred, I've just had this for dinner. Can you update my fitness pal for me, or can you just update the dashboard for me? And that's going to be pretty cool, right? So again, it's not doing this the things out of my mind. I'm laying in bed at night and I'm just thinking, what can I get it to do next? What can I get it to do next? Like, I've got it to review all my marketing. I've got it to review my social media channels and give me feedback on them and what we can do better. So I've covered a lot in this podcast episode, right? And you can probably tell by the tone of my voice, I'm pretty excited and pretty pumped by this stuff. And it's, if anything, it's going to make us a better business. It's going to make us a more human business, because my team are going to have more time. If you're interested in any of the stuff that we've done today, I'm going to put together a document to talk about, firstly, the setup that I've got, the difference between ChatGPT and Claude. I'm going to put in that document. I'm going to talk about OpenClaw and what it is, and I'm going to tell you about how I've set these different things up for it as well, with all the connections. So if you want access to that document, I just want you to do me a favor. I want you to share this podcast with somebody that you know, and just take a screenshot, show me that you shared it with them. Or even better, if you can go on Apple or Spotify and leave me a 5-star review, or on YouTube and leave me a 5-star review, that would be fantastic. And I will then share the document with you, along with all the steps that you can take so that you can automate lots of things in your life, free up lots of time, and collate all the data that you're potentially getting into one easy to find space, platform, document, whatever it is. So just remember, AI, it's not going to solve everything, right? But the businesses using it smartly are going to be pulling ahead every single day. I've got one of the other things I'm building, right, is an online client portal, so that all of my clients can have their own login and they can see exactly what their properties are doing, who's in them properties, what they bought it for, what it's worth now, what sort of equity they've got in there, what sort of available working equity they've got, how long it's going to be before they're debt free. So it's going to have a countdown timer to show them when they're going to be able to retire. Like, that would cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it would take years to produce. And I think I'm going to build that out in the next 2 weeks, and it's probably going to cost me about $2,000 or $3,000. And again, just another beautiful little add-on for the clients that come into the HMO Property Show. So yeah, if you're using it, let me know how you're using it. I put a few posts out online about this, and a few people reached out and showed me how they're using it. I actually think I'm using it a little bit more advanced than what they're doing at the minute, but I absolutely love this, right? So the gap between those using it and those not is growing. Which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the gap that gets left behind, or are you going to be on the side of the team that uses AI, implements it, frees up more time, has more headspace, enjoys life more, and potentially use it to invest more and get the best out of life, right? So let me know how you're using it, and join us again next time on the HMO Property Show, when I'm going to start pulling apart all of the property management data that we've got. My name's Neil Gibb. Join me next time on the HMO Property Show.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you can stay up to date with all cash flow positive property updates.